Good morning, everyone. I needed extra coffee this morning. It's been a rough week. I know you haven't seen me, and I haven't been able to answer many emails. And I know many of you are wanting to talk to us and Skype and everything, and I'm sorry, we just can't right now. I want to talk about our puppy's accident. That's what happened, and it's keeping us so busy, full-time, both of us full-time. And it's like, my goodness. Warning, these are going to be graphic pictures of what happened to our dog Zip. And poor puppy, I just feel so sorry for him. But it's kind of good advice to those of you who have fur babies. We have a fenced-in backyard where they run around and play, and it's a huge backyard, but it, has a bunch of cedar trees. Well, we cut the limbs on the bottom part of the tree so that we can get the lawnmower around it in the summertime. And unfortunately, we left some limbs that were sticking out just that much. And the puppies were running and playing and jumping and fighting like what puppies do. And our dog Zip ran into one of those limbs, and the poor thing ripped open his side. And this is what it looked like. And it was on a Sunday, and so we had to take him to the pet ER, which is an hour away. In fact, the closest vet is an hour away. And you know how expensive pet ERs are, just as almost as expensive as human ERs. But they had to do surgery, and this is what it ended up looking like. I'm sorry, I'm just so tired, because like I say, we've been trying to take care of him and the two other dogs 24/7. And they stapled it, and those are drain tubes. And the cut, his sutures, they're probably about 8 inches long. And it just really tore him up. And we've been having to make several trips back to the vet because it was either the next day or the day after. Let's see, that happened on Sunday. It was Wednesday. We had to go back in because he had pulled out the drain tubes. And I was like, oh, good grief. And they had sutured them in. And so we had to take them back. And they said, well, there's not much we can do. Let's just take the drain tubes out. And they took the sutures out. It's like, okay. So that was another $167. And so it's like, okay, we're good. And we go home and doing okay for a few days. And then a few days after that, the skin started pulling away from the staples. And it got really bad. So we had to take them back in. That was Saturday, this past Saturday. And they said, well, we want to do, a procedure that will help, since the wound is open and we can't suture it back closed because, it's been almost a week. And so what they did is they did little sutures around the injury in like an 8-inch round. And then they had what looked like a shoelace and this big thick pad on the wound, and they, wrapped this pad in these sutures, and it looked like a dream catcher. And I was like, I don't think this is going to work at all. No, it didn't. The next day it was snowing, and I took Zip out and was walking him around. And you know what dogs do when they get wet or in the snow or whatever? They shake. Well, he's a big dog. He's 90 pounds. And he shook really hard, and that wet pad went flying, and it pulled out some of the sutures, and it's like, oh, good grief. And I was like, okay, they said there's not much they can do, so I just took some scissors, and I cut those little loops of sutures, and I pulled them out, took the shoestring off and the pad, and they told us that you can use women's feminine pads for, injuries like that. So that's what we've been using. We got the, women's Super Duty, and then they have what they call vet wrap that they use to wrap horses' legs. And so we've just been putting that on there at night. and wrapping it around. And our kids' vet, Zip's sister, the puppy they have, she had an open wound injury where she actually pulled off part of her toe and her toenail. And their vet told them to use a diluted mixture of distilled water and Epsom salt. It was like 4 to 6 cups of distilled water with 1 tablespoon of Epsom salt, and spray it on it to keep it clean and help dry it out. So that's what we do during the day. You know, we keep spraying it. But it's a full-time job just keeping Lizzie, his sister, from licking his wound. You know, he's got a cone, which is a pain in the ass because he's hitting everything. We've had to duct tape it together several times now. And just getting him to eat and go to the bathroom has just been very fun. Yeah, fun. Like I said, we're just exhausted. But I just wanted to let all of you know. And I had taken him out day before yesterday, and Mike took video, and Mike got a kick out of it because there was a huge buck eating. We have a bale of alfalfa, probably about 50 yards from our front door, maybe only 30 yards. So we have this bale of alfalfa out there, and especially in the winter, we like to keep food and water available for all of the wildlife. And what was funny is this buck, when I took Zip out the front door, this buck just perks up and looks at us and watches us. But we go and we walk around, and we're walking around the side yard, and we come back, and the buck is still there eating. It's like they're getting tame. They're getting used to us. But as you can see, Mike zoomed in so you could see Zip's injury, and it's still pretty bad, and you know, we're still really worried and concerned about him. So anyway, I just wanted to give everybody an update. And I did learn one thing at the vet. Most vets will give you an estimate. You know, they'll print out an estimate of what it's going to cost for surgery or whatever, and you have to sign papers. You know, do you want us to resuscitate, you know, CPR and all of this. And you look at the estimate, and if you say, oh, that's not that bad, I was expecting it to be at least $1,000, well, guess what your bill's going to be? Because after that was said, the tech immediately says, oh, well, that's just for the sedation and the doctor, you know, stitching him back up. That doesn't include if you need x-rays or anything like that. Well, guess what our bill was? $1,000. So it's like, note to everybody, do not say that. When you see that estimate, don't say, oh, that's not that bad. I was expecting it to be at least $1,000, because that's what your bill's going to be. Not, you know, half of what the estimate, you know, half of that what the estimate was. So, you know, we've learned a few things in this ordeal. So thank you everyone for watching, and we will, you know, chat and talk with all of you, you know, because there's times, since they have to be watched almost constantly, you know, a lot of times the phone will ring, and, you know, we're busy either trying to get them fed and get Zip take his medicine. You know, he's on 2 heavy-duty antibiotics and pain pills and all this. I mean, he's on 6 meds. And it's just been fun trying to, but I have learned, don't get the pill pockets for $12 a packet that the vet tries to sell you. Just get a package of human hot dogs, you know, human food hot dogs, the cheap ones, and just cut them about that big and just, you know, stick the pill inside of that. Makes it a lot easier and cheaper. Hot dogs are a heck of a lot cheaper than those pill pockets. You know, the vet is always trying to make money and, you know, sell you all this stuff. And yeah, their little dream catcher pad, that was a waste of money. That didn't even work. And of course they tell you, you know, you have to have this heavy duty antibiotic, which is really expensive. So anyway, I want to thank all of you so much for watching. We appreciate all of you, and we appreciate the kind words of love and support. And we'll keep hanging in there and taking care of our puppy. And like I said, if you have fur babies, just check to make sure, you know, you don't have these little pieces of limb sticking out, because it gets very expensive, and you know, got to take care of our babies. So you all have a wonderful day. Bye.